If you've been seeing the mouth taping trend and thinking, this looks oddly logical, you're not alone. It's one of the cleanest looking biohacks on the internet: tape mouth, breathe nose, sleep like a monk. But here's the plot twist. If your mouth keeps falling open at night, your body might be compensating, not failing. And in the wrong person, taping your mouth can turn a breathing problem into a bigger breathing problem. So today, we're going to give you the safe pathway that actually works. We're going to cover what nasal breathing helps, what mouth tape can and can't do, how sleep apnea changes the entire conversation, and the simple steps you can try tonight, without doing something you'll regret at 3:17 a.m. If you want more science-backed longevity playbooks like this, hit like and subscribe. And check the description for tools we mention, plus our longevity compass book on Amazon. Now let's start with the most important truth in this whole video. Nasal breathing is generally better when your nose is actually open. Your nose isn't just a tube. It's more like a built-in air filter, humidifier, and temperature control system. It warms and moistens the air, traps particles, and it can support a smoother, more stable breathing pattern for a lot of people. It also helps protect your mouth from drying out overnight, which matters for your gums, teeth, and morning breath that could peel paint. But if your nose is blocked, your mouth becomes the emergency exit. Forcing the emergency exit shut is not a strategy, it's a vibe. So why do people love mouth taping? Because it feels like it should work. Snoring, mouth open. Dry mouth, mouth open. Bad sleep, mouth open. Tape the mouth, fix the problem. Except sometimes, the mouth is open because your airway is partly collapsing during sleep. That's obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, and it's not just snoring. OSA is repeated airway collapse during sleep. Your breathing flow drops, oxygen can dip, and your brain has to partially wake you up to reopen the airway. And it can happen dozens of times per hour. Not enough to remember it, but enough to feel wrecked the next day. Here's the high retention checklist to take seriously. Loud snoring, witnessed pauses or gasping, morning headaches, dry mouth on waking, and daytime sleepiness that doesn't match how long you slept. Also, getting up to pee at night for no obvious reason. And the "I slept 8 hours but I feel like I got hit by a forklift" feeling. If that's you, the safest hack is not tape. The safest hack is a diagnosis. Because mouth taping is not a treatment for sleep apnea. At best, it might help a narrow slice of people, usually mild cases, with a clear nose and a mouth breathing habit. But here's what the best research summaries are basically telling us. The evidence is thin, the studies are small, and real-world safety is uncertain, especially if you have nasal obstruction. One 2025 systematic review looked at 10 studies and only a small number showed meaningful improvements in common sleep apnea markers. Several papers raised potential harms, particularly if someone can't reliably breathe through their nose. That's the key. Mouth tape assumes your nose is a fully functioning runway. But a lot of people are trying this with allergic rhinitis, chronic congestion, a deviated septum, turbinate swelling, or untreated sinus issues. Translation: the runway is closed, and the plane is still trying to land. Now let's be fair. There are small studies where mouth taping reduced snoring or improved mild sleep apnea measurements in selected people. But selected is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Because most of these studies exclude the exact people who are most likely to get into trouble, people with nasal blockage, higher apnea severity, or multiple risk factors. So if you've been told, mouth tape fixes sleep apnea, put the claim in the same category as detox tea melts belly fat. It makes a great thumbnail. It makes a terrible medical plan. Now, there is one place where mouth tape becomes more defensible. Not as an apnea cure, but as a CPAP accessory for mouth leak. If you're using nasal CPAP and your mouth opens, the pressure escapes. That can wreck comfort, dry you out, and reduce adherence. In that context, diagnosed OSA, already treated, and you're working on leaks, some clinicians use mouth tape or a chin strap as a tool. That's a very different scenario than DIY taping your mouth shut because TikTok told you it boosts oxygen. So here's the longevity compass, safe pathway, algorithm. This is the whole video in 4 steps. Step 1. Don't confuse snoring with harmless. Snoring plus sleepiness, gasping, or high blood pressure should make you assume possible sleep apnea until proven otherwise. Step 2. Get objective data. That might be a home sleep apnea test for the right person, or run in lab study depending on complexity. But either way, it should be ordered and interpreted properly by qualified clinicians, not, "My smartwatch said I'm spiritual." Step 3. Treat what's actually causing the problem. If you have OSA, the proven menu is still the proven menu. Positive airway pressure, CPAP or APAP, is first line for many people, especially moderate to severe cases. Oral appliance therapy, specifically custom titratable mandibular advancement devices, can be an option for people who can't tolerate CPAP or prefer an alternative. Positional therapy can help if your apnea is mostly worse on your back. And targeted tongue and oropharyngeal exercises, myofunctional therapy, can be a useful adjunct if you're consistent. Step 4. Only then do we talk about mouth tape, and it's conditional. It's not for everyone, and it's definitely not for suspected sleep apnea plus blocked nose. So let me give you the simple, do not tape, list. If any of these apply, skip it and fix the actual problem first. If you suspect or have untreated moderate to severe sleep apnea. If you have chronic nasal obstruction, frequent nighttime congestion, or you can't comfortably nasal breathe while awake. If you've been drinking heavily, you're sick with nausea, or you're using sedatives without medical guidance. And kids, no, pediatric airway issues need real evaluation, not household arts and crafts. Now the next question is the one everyone actually cares about. What can I do tonight? Here are safer, high ROI moves that don't involve turning your face into a shipping package. First, open the nose. Saline rinse can help, humidification can help, and allergy control can help. If you have allergic symptoms, talk with a clinician about an evidence-based rhinitis plan. Second, change position. If you're a back snorer, side sleeping can reduce snoring and may help positional apnea patterns. Third, stop feeding the collapses. Alcohol close to bedtime, sleep deprivation, and certain sedatives can worsen airway collapse and snoring. Fourth, if you're already on CPAP and struggling, fix the setup. Mask fit, humidification, and leak management are the real unlocks. Sometimes a full face mask is the better solution if you're chronically congested. And sometimes mouth tape is a short-term tool, again, ideally under clinician guidance, if nasal breathing is strong and you're specifically addressing mouth leak. Now, let's talk about the part most influences skip. The nose is often the bottleneck. Fixing nasal obstruction rarely cures sleep apnea by itself, but it can improve comfort, reduce snoring, and dramatically improve CPAP tolerance. If you can't breathe through your nose during the day, you won't magically breathe through it at night. That's not discipline, that's plumbing. So if you've been thinking of mouth taping, your first trial should be this. Can you breathe comfortably through your nose for 5 minutes while relaxed? No force, no struggle, no panic. If not, don't tape. Fix the nose and rule out apnea first. And if you're still tempted because you're a curious human, and I respect that, here's the responsible way to frame it. Mouth tape is not a treatment. It's an experiment. It's potentially useful for a narrow subset of people with a clear nose, no significant apnea, and a mouth breathing habit. Or as a leak management tool for certain CPAP users. And even then, if anything feels uncomfortable, air hunger, anxiety, worsening sleep, you stop. Because pushing through is for the gym, not for breathing. Here's the payoff if you do this the smart way. If you identify sleep apnea and treat it properly, people often notice the biggest changes in daytime energy, blood pressure trends, mood, and cognitive clarity. If you open the nose, people often notice less dryness, less snoring, and fewer wake-ups. And if you reduce mouth breathing safely, you may protect oral health and improve morning comfort. That's the real win. Not, I taped my mouth and ascended. Quick reminder, if this helped, please like, subscribe, and share it with the friend who thinks mouth tape is basically CPAP. And check the description for the gear list and our Longevity Compass Amazon book. Now I want to hear from you. Have you tried mouth taping, nasal strips, or CPAP? And what actually changed your sleep the most? Because the goal here isn't trendy. The goal is breathing right, safely, and waking up with energy you can actually use.